and welcome back to another episode of Thrive in Your Mission. I'm Elvira Hopper, and I'm here with my beautiful partner, Tavia Sharp. And we are so passionate to help you thrive in your mission because we're thriving in our mission, and it's daily work, and it's a question of showing up authentically, aligned, fully self-expressed. I'm using my taglines, but I feel that last week we talked about the witch wounds, right? Which are all about, staying small and in the box because in the past we were burned at the stake for speaking our truth, right? So that trauma is still in our bodies. So it's daily work to make sure that we are not living from the witch wounds, that we are living as our higher self that is here for a bigger purpose. Having the courage to do that takes courage, and so we want to inspire you to do it because we are far from perfect. We work on this every day, and we used to be so fearful of showing up on camera and just speaking our truth, right? We have visibility wounds, but my God, Tavia and I have done so much inner work to shed these old patterns, these old beliefs, these old traumas that, hey, I got to stay small in the box so that everyone will like me, and so that no one's going to be upset. Well, the truth is, like, how is the world going to change unless you have the courage to speak your truth and share your
Mhm.
mission with the world, right? So this is what we talk about. And so what happens is when we are in alignment with our truth and have the courage to speak it, then we get these amazing opportunities coming our way. Like, for example, I was just telling Tavia backstage, a couple of weekends ago, I went to this very snazzy event given by a top level coach. Her name is Kate Perkovic, and she has a podcast called Ambitious. And her evening
Mm.
was called Ambitious. And I was guided to attend this event. I didn't know a single soul at it, but Spirit said, you need to be there. So when I was there, we went around the table and had really powerful conversations. She's an amazing coach. And I shared my truth, and there was some vulnerability shared, but I did it anyway. And I was out there, and you know what? She invited me onto her podcast. So I'm going to be interviewed on this woman's podcast. Again, she's a rock star, but it was me having the courage to speak my truth, to fear being not liked in this group of women, and just saying, this is who I am, this is what I've done, this is what I'm all about. And sure enough, she vibed with my vibe because my vibe is similar to hers in that she's very courageous too. So you would, like attracts like, right? So when we have the courage to be seen, we get better opportunities. So I want to hand it over to you,
Absolutely.
Tavia, and speak. What does this mean to you?
Yeah, no, it's so true. You're absolutely right. We have to just, show up, especially as entrepreneurs or, experts, like industry experts, right? We have to show up and share our truth and not be afraid. For me, it's really about marketing. People ask all the time, oh, how do you get clients? Or, how do you get all these speaking opportunities? I said, well, that's because I'm showing up pretty much
Mhm.
daily in this digital space, like we're doing right now. This is an example of it, right? And when I put this content out in this way, right, or a post or some kind of marketing material on, the five or so platforms that I use, there's people out there that catch it, see it, and they say, hey, you know what, that's for me, right? And they reach out. Like, that's how I find clients. It's literally through marketing. Most of my clients find me because they've Googled me, or they're on, some platform, whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and they say, oh wow, I resonate with her, or there's something about the way I show up in the world or speak my truth that people say, you know what, that's for me. Or speaking engagements, it's the same thing. It's continuing to show up, sharing my truth. Uh, Obviously, networking is a big piece of it as well, but it's basically essentially what we're doing right now. This is what we're trying to tell you. I mean, a lot of I work with so many entrepreneurs, and helping them with their brand and styling and all this stuff to help them look good. But if they're not taking the action afterwards, right? If they're looking the part and then not going out there and putting themselves in the right places or putting themselves online, that's definitely going to hold them back from these opportunities, or just being more successful than they are or that they could be, is because they need to now, like, I want to empower people to then feel more confident to go put themselves out there so they can start to have these opportunities show up. This is exactly what you were saying. Like, it's about the energy you put out. And when you feel confident, you feel radiant, you feel powerful, you feel like whatever, you're going to attract that. Right. So those
Right.
opportunities will show up a lot more easily if you do this, like what we're saying, you do the inner stuff, you do the outer, and then boom, you're going to be a magnet for opportunities,
Mhm.
right?
I love it.
That's
I love
exactly
it.
it. Hmm.
Yeah, or as I like to say, you become a magnet for miracles, right? And
Magnet
what's
for
a
miracles.
miracle?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
What's a miracle is basically something you want, but you didn't actually go pushing for it. You
Mm.
didn't hustle for it. It's just how you showed up energetically, you magnetized it to you, right? So this is the power of our messages. Our messages are magnetic. They can bring the right people to us, the right opportunities to us, like getting booked on this podcast, right? Like, to me, that's a big deal because I've done a ton of podcasts, but I've been asking the universe for some higher level podcasts, and boom,
Yes.
this happened. And it happened yesterday. And then another woman reached out and said, I'd like you on my podcast. And she's a woman that I totally respect and I just adore. And I'm like, wow, how cool. Like, and it's so the irony is not the irony. Well, I guess it is ironic, but I've just gone through something really challenging lately. And this is what I want
Mm.
people to notice. A little bit of a tangent here, but I just went through something very challenging. My mother's got dementia, and I've been caregiving with her for her. And so last week was a really challenging week. Like, Tavia and I couldn't even jump on this and do this show because of that. But what happened is, because I survived that, okay, this is a really cool little side note here. Because I survived that, I believe that when we survive something that is really challenging, it's not like we're here and then we drop to here and we go back to here. It's when we drop and we're challenged, something challenging happens, we don't go back here. We go up here, right? So
Mm.
basically we double, like we drop and then we double our way up. And that's really cool to think, right? Like, when you face your challenges, when you grow through your challenges, you become your next level self, right? So
Hmm.
I feel I became my next level self, and that's why, out of the blue, these two amazing women I respect invited me to speak on their podcast because of how I was showing up energetically, vibrationally, right? Have you ever noticed this, Tavia, when you've gone through challenges and you
Absolutely.
become, yeah,
Yes, because
yeah,
with every breakdown, there's a
yeah,
breakthrough. And often the
yes, yeah,
breakthrough is like, it's like it then propels you, right? Instead of, like you said, you don't have a breakdown and then end up in the same place. You have a breakdown and then a breakthrough. And it's like, it makes you stronger. It makes you more powerful
yeah,
and more
yeah,
just, you have that energy field increases in a positive way. So it attracts like
yeah,
that next level, right? And that's why, I
yeah.
always say, like, you're constantly evolving, you never stay the
Mhm.
same. And so, even if I just talk about what I do and my work, it's like you're constantly evolving. So once we've kind of like gotten to a certain point with how we show up, it's time to get to the next level. So it's always going to change, evolve for the better. I look even at
Yeah,
myself, a few years ago, I'm like, wow, I look different. I'm showing up different. Like, I'm not the same person. You're not the same
yeah,
person. So you have to evolve, you know, um, even in your image and the way you put yourself out in the world, because
yeah,
it's gonna increase, right, the results that you get. And we're not talking, notice that we're not talking about working harder to get those results. We haven't said that at
yeah,
all. We have been talking about showing up, doing the work, doing the inner work and the outer to match that, so that you can then, like a miracle, magnetize these opportunities, not hustle your way to the opportunities.
yes,
I That causes burnout, right? And I don't care
yes,
what coach out there says, oh, you need to do this and you need to have this many calls and you need to do this many, podcast episodes and you need to put your no, you do what feels good and actually lights you up, not
Yes.
drains your energy, because I know I have been guilty of doing things
Yeah.
that drain my energy because I think I should do it like a checklist. And guess what?
Yeah.
It always drains me, and I often don't see better results because I worked harder for it, or worked or hustled or took a lot of action. It's mostly the results I get, or the opportunities, I'll say, are because I've actually shown up in alignment and I feel energized by that particular thing, right? Whether it's doing a live stream or, putting out a cool video or a reel, or just going to an event. Like Elvira said, she went to the event because something, guided her to say, yes, you need to go there, right? It wasn't because she said, I need to go there because I'm a business owner. And if I don't go, I'm, like, no, nobody, she didn't talk about it like that, right? There's a lot of different things you could be doing, but it was from a place of, I feel lit up by that. I'm excited by that. If you start to let yourself be guided by that, you're going to have that much more success than if you hustled your way there, right?
Yeah. Amen. Amen. Yeah, it's all about how we're showing up energetically because we are energetic
Yes.
beings and how, like when people say, I love your energy, and I'm like, thank you, and it's not something that I'm consciously doing, but it's like I'm removing all the barriers to me showing up bright. And that's what I just naturally am. I'm just
Yes.
authentically a high vibration human. I'm not trying to be anything. I'm just getting to be me, right? You as well, Tavia. You get to be you. That's what brought us together. Because I remember,
Hmm.
we're in the Dragonfly community with Jonathan Carroll, who is our leader, and I just remember you showing up so authentically yourself one day, and you were struggling with something, and I
Hmm.
was inspired to reach out to you and just chat with you about it. And sure enough, it's what bonded us because you were saying, yeah, like I'm styling these people and they're amazing brands, but then they just kind of hide. And I'm like, I'm
Yes.
the missing piece, right? So this is what brought us together. And so
Right.
your energy of authenticity that day is what drew me to you, right? So
Hmm.
so our job is to just be truly ourselves, and the right
Hmm.
people will find us. That's our
Yes.
message. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good
Yeah.
message. Own your
I
voice.
love that.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. And whether it's just an individual conversation or it's putting something out there like we are right now, or you're showing up at a networking, opportunity or an event, like just speak your truth and the right opportunities
Mhm.
will sync up
Yeah.
with your energy. I think that's what we're
Yeah.
trying to say here. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love this. Well, I think now's a good time to wrap up this episode. And I just want to say, thank you, Tavia. Thank you, because every time I jump on with you, the conversation just gets led to places. There's no planning around this. We just have a topic and then we riff off of it. And it's so easy to do this with you because we're so
Yeah.
aligned with our mission to help others thrive in their mission. And we do it in our beautiful, unique ways. And,
Hmm.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everyone who's jumped on to witness this. If we can support you, don't hesitate to send us, messages. Put in the chat what you liked about this, how it supported you. We're still at the beginning stages of this, but we want to see it grow. Share it with anyone you feel you want to share it with intuitively, and just keep rocking your why. Keep thriving in your mission, and get the support that you need, because nobody does this alone. So I want to
Right.
say thank you, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Thrive in Your Mission. Bye.
Bye.